The honey badger has a reputation as the most fearless animal on Earth. Videos of it charging lions, raiding beehives, and shrugging off snake bites have made it an internet legend. People call it invincible. It isn't. Behind the memes is one of the hardest, most brutal survival stories in the animal kingdom. A life where nearly half of all young honey badgers die before they're old enough to live on their own, where every meal is a gamble, and where fearless is really just another word for having no other choice. This is why it actually sucks to be a honey badger. A honey badger cub is born completely blind and helpless, tucked into an underground den while its mother is forced to leave it alone for hours at a time to hunt. There's no father around to help, no pack, just one mother and a cub that can't see, can't defend itself, and can't move far if something goes wrong. And in the honey badger's world, something usually does go wrong. Researchers tracking honey badger cubs found that only about 47% of them survive from birth to independence, meaning more than half never make it. The causes include starvation, predation, and even infanticide. Some cubs are killed and eaten by the very predators her mother is trying to avoid. Others simply starve while she's away searching for food in a landscape that offers almost nothing for free. Predation pressure on cubs and juveniles is the single biggest factor keeping the honey badger's wild population in check. Lions, leopards, and even massive pythons all see a young badger as an easy target. If a cub survives its first few months, it's already beaten worse odds than most predators on the continent ever have to face. The honey badger's body isn't built to make life easy. It's built to survive being hurt constantly. Its skin is loose enough that when a predator grabs it by the neck or shoulders, the badger can twist around inside its own hide and bite back. That same tough, loose skin can resist bee stings, porcupine quills, snake fangs, and dog bites. That might sound like a superpower. It's really a description of an animal that gets attacked so often, evolution had no choice but to make it absorb damage instead of avoiding it. Honey badgers survive documented attacks that include bites to the head, crushing blows, and prolonged grappling, not because they're invincible, but because a thick skull, strong neck muscles, and a flexible spine let them recover from injuries that would kill most animals their size. Think about what that actually means. This is an animal's evolutionary strategy is get hurt badly over and over and just barely survive it. One of the honey badger's most famous behaviors is raiding beehives for honey and larvae. And it's not the fearless stunt people think it is. It's a gamble the badger has to keep making because there isn't always something better to eat. In southern Africa, honey badgers have been observed raiding beehives despite being stung hundreds of times in a single attempt. Hundreds of stings, and that thick skin doesn't make them immune. Honey badgers have been known to get stung to death during hive raids. Every raid is a bet that the meal is worth the pain, and sometimes the badger loses that bet permanently. The honey badger's reputation for eating venomous snakes and walking away fine isn't the full story either. Honey badgers do not have full immunity to snake venom. They can and do die from it, either from the toxin itself or from the sickness and malnourishment that follows a bad bite. A strike from a snake like a puff adder can penetrate their skin and knock the badger unconscious for a period of time, leaving it vulnerable to anything else that happens to be nearby while it's down. Most of the time they survive, but most of the time isn't the same as always, and out in the wild, the times it doesn't work out are the times that end a honey badger's life for good. Honey badgers don't live in groups. There's no pack to share the workload, warn of danger, or help defend territory. Every honey badger is on its own.
Female honey badgers need roughly 126 square kilometers of territory just to find enough food, while males need an almost unbelievable 541 square kilometers, an area so large that finding food, water, and shelter becomes a full-time, lifelong grind with no help from anyone. That constant, high-effort, nomadic lifestyle in nutrient-scarce environments like the Kalahari Desert forces relentless foraging and intense competition for resources, and every bit of that expenditure eats directly into how long the animal is likely to live. Here's the part the internet gets wrong. Honey badgers aren't reckless. They survive by carefully assessing risk and retreating the moment the odds turn against them. Their toughness and pain tolerance simply buy them the time to make that choice, not a guarantee they'll win. Their low center of gravity makes them hard to flip or pin, and when things go badly enough, they can dig an escape burrow and disappear underground in minutes rather than staying to fight something they can't beat. That's not fearlessness. That's an animal that has learned, the hard way, exactly how much danger it can survive because it's had to find out the hard way over and over its entire life. After surviving blindness at birth, a coin flip chance of reaching independence, hundreds of bee stings, snake venom, and a solitary life spent covering hundreds of square kilometers alone, what does a honey badger get for all of it? A wild honey badger typically lives just 7 to 8 years. In captivity, away from every threat that defines its wild life, that same animal can live nearly 3 times as long, with one captive badger reaching 24 years old. That gap says everything. The honey badger isn't tough because life is easy for it. It's tough because life has never once given it a choice. The honey badger's legend was built on video clips. Its real story was built on loss. Cub after cub that didn't make it, sting after sting, bite after bite, absorbed just to see the next day. If you learned something about the animal behind the memes, subscribe for more real stories from the wild, because the truth is almost always more incredible than the legend.